Former Olympian Caitlyn Jenner is one of the highest profile challengers to Governor Gavin Newsom in California's upcoming recall election. Jenner has been critical of the state's homeless crisis and of Newsom's response to the coronavirus. Recent polls show about half of California's registered voters plan to reject the recall and allow Newsom to finish his term. Caitlyn Jenner joins us now. Good morning. It's great to have you at the table. It's great to have people back at the table.
It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Gail. I haven't seen you in a while.
That is very true, but I have to say, Caitlyn, it's been a long time since we've had somebody here that doesn't work for Viacom CBS.
That's right.
Oh,
to have somebody,
this is good.
yes.
That's right.
You are not being paid by Viacom CBS, so we're so glad you're at the table.
Well,
Caitlyn,
another person.
You've said that California needs a disruptor. In your words, a compassionate disruptor.
Yes.
But you have never held elective office. Why are you ready to be governor?
It was not an easy decision to make, to do this. It took a lot of time, a lot of talking to people. But when I finally made the decision and decided to get in, I thought I was very qualified. Why? Because I am an outsider. Right now, I have absolutely no ties to Sacramento. And I think that's a good thing, being from the outside. The insiders who we're talking about is what makes you qualified. Well, these insiders are qualified. They're the ones responsible for 13.3% tax rates. We have the highest tax rates in the country. We have a homeless crisis in California. They're the ones responsible, not me. I'm going in there to fix those things.
But how do you feel, Caitlyn, you can fix it with no political experience? Some would argue that now more than ever you need somebody with political experience. You've never held any public office.
What do you mean by political experience?
Well, who's had a public office before?
In 1973, when I moved to San Jose, I've been in California for 48 years. 1973, when I went to San Jose, why did I go there to train for the last 4 years leading up to the games? Because that's where the greatest athletes of the world lived. I want to learn from them, and I did, and I became the greatest athlete in the world. I want to do the same thing in Sacramento. I want to surround myself, would you say, all of these people with political experience, okay? Eventually, I would have to make the final decisions on these things.
So you're saying you'll surround yourself with a political team?
Oh, an extraordinarily good I have met a lot of these people already. I've talked to them as far as tax issues, on regulations. So smart. They've been doing this for years. I would eventually have to make the final decision. But I think I can attract those type of people into my administration.
Caitlyn, the road to the governor's mansion goes through El Barrio in California. Latinx people are the largest demographic group in the state, a huge voting bloc. Have you engaged with the community to find out what their priorities are for these voters?
I have engaged some at this point. Obviously, it's still new, and I have a lot to learn on that subject. But I've engaged with all voters. I talk every day to people. I mean, I go to the gas station and I ask the guy getting on the other side, hey, why are you still here? What are the problems with California? I constantly ask people. And so, yes.
I mean, but 1 in 10 workers in California are undocumented. You said you support a pathway to citizenship for these workers. What would you do for them to protect them and
There's a couple of million, at least a couple of million estimated people who have entered this country illegally, but they have been here for years. I think they should have legal status in this country. They're great people. They've done wonderful work. They are part of our economy in California. They should be able to stay. I would provide protection to the people that are here. They can stay, legal status. They've been here for years. What I don't want is an open border where you have drug lords, terrorists, bad people coming across, MS-13, bad people. We got to keep that out. I don't want criminals in this country. I want good people. And you know what? There's a lot of great people. A lot of my friends are, yes.
Are you prepared for all the incoming you're going to take? And a lot of eye rolls from people who are saying, is this just a photo op? What is she looking? Listen, have you asked your family to engage? You don't want them to engage in your campaign?
As we all know, politics can be a pretty tough business, okay?
Even in the family.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yes, for anybody. And you know what? I got pretty big shoulders, unfortunately, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And I can take it. People have come after me all my life, and I kind of just move on and do my own thing. But I did speak with all my children. I said,
did.
hey, I do not want one tweet. I don't want you involved. This is my deal.
You told them not to
Politics.
tweet?
You told them not to be involved.
Yes, not to be involved whatsoever. I said, if anybody asks any questions, in the media, because they obviously are in the media, I said, just say no comment. Address your comments to me.
Caitlin, there are bills in at least 20 states that are designed to limit access to transgender health care, and they're being pushed by Republicans. How do you feel about that?
I would obviously not, as governor, follow that. I would.
Do you think your party is wrong on this issue?
Yes, I think the party's wrong on a lot of. That's why I'm running as an inclusive candidate, not just as a Republican. Economically, I'm running as a Republican. Lower taxes, less regulations, a pro-business environment. I was talking with the head of some of these major companies. They all left. They left because it's not a friendly business environment.
Right.
I want to make a friendly business environment. But socially, I am much more inclusive than I would think the normal Republican would be, and that's the way I would treat that.
The bottom line is you are running for governor. You are serious. You want this job.
I want this job, baby. I'm going to change this state.
All right.
You can't have a healthy America with a sick California. And right now, California is pretty sick.
All right, Caitlin Jenner, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it.